The first thing affected by malnutrition is the brain. And if you're not making good decisions, you're not going to think your way out of the situation you're in. You can't say they're the healthiest foods, but you can say they've got a lot of nutrition. And for a demographic that's living on old stale French fries that people give them when they're holding up a sign and crappy McDonald's hamburgers, something that they can heat up right there. You know those little green propane cans? They turn the stoves on in their tents to just stay warm.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Venner, and I'm back with another edition of the Milpreneur Podcast. Today, we are brought to you by our sponsor, Synergist. If you are needing operational opportunities to help grow your business faster at a fraction of the cost, go check out Synergist.com. Today, I have Mark Baylis on of the Valor Clinic Foundation. Mark, how are you today?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Staying too busy, but pretty good.
Awesome, man. Very cool. Well, I'm excited to learn more about what you got going on with the Valor Clinic, but let's take it back a little old school and let's learn a little bit about your service time, okay?
All right.
Yeah. So, you're a Ranger, right?
Yeah, I started out as a young private in the 2nd Ranger Battalion and then moved on to Special Forces and did just shy of 24 years in Special Forces after my time with the Rangers. And I had a good time. I had some good mentors. I don't know where I'd have been if I didn't have mentors like LG or Sergeant Hendricks or Sergeant Birch or a host of other tremendous talents that I was fortunate to show me the ropes.
Sure. Yeah. And, the military side teaches such like structure and ethics and, like integrity about how you handle yourself every single day. And, whether you're having a great day or less than stellar day. So I'm sure you took a lot of what you learned from the military side of stuff and then brought it into what you do now, right?
Oh, absolutely. And in a strange way, one of the places that taught me the most that I incorporated on the outside was I had a JRTC assignment as an OC, and they were really short officers. And as a Sergeant First Class, I kept having to fill in and do a lot of officer functions. And I had a major that retired as a lieutenant general teach me the officer version of leadership and planning compared to the NCO version. And it was eye-opening to learn they call it the military decision-making process, but the full scope version of that and how the aspects of the way the NCOs teach it more from the op order perspective. But I learned quite a bit about planning and a higher level decision making. I've used it quite a bit in the civilian world. I used it quite a bit in the military as well.
Fantastic. And not everybody gets really that, I guess you can call it access or that, that mentorship, even as a senior level NCO, right?
Yeah. And it worked out for me as a first sergeant. I was employing some of that and they PCS'd my major and let me have company command time for 7 or 8 months to redesign the Special Forces Communications Sergeant training. And then it opened some doors for me that are not normally open for people. And I'm grateful.
That's amazing. Very cool. Well, now, you have this illustrious career in the military, and now you're kind of helping with, well, not kind of, you've brought together the Valor Clinic Foundation. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I broke my back in Baghdad in I guess it would have been April 2003. I don't remember the exact day, but ended up getting a medical discharge several years later when they realized they couldn't fix it. And so I landed outside the service due to paperwork error and circumstance. I landed in the civilian world like a private E1 getting out. I had no pension, I had no nothing.
Oh,
and it took a long time to get fixed. And in that transition gap from when I get out until I start having a pension or the VA's providing benefits, it was a rough road. And I ended up living in a camper for 15 or 16 months and wondering if I was going to have enough money to buy peanut butter and jelly to feed my kid on the weekends for my visitation periods. But anyway, it sets the stage that forces me to learn some things. And I end up running a food pantry for a church because I'm going back and forth to the hospital all the time. I can't get a regular job and I want to be busy. So I'm the director of this small food pantry. And everybody in the line that's a male over 35 is a veteran. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
and just started helping vets, and it's grown from that in 2010 and 2011 to we helped 4,400 vets last year and across four programs. We've developed as we got to know the vets, we learned more about their problems, and then we started addressing some of the specific problems and the gaps from normal social services. And yeah, we gave out 95,500 meals last year to veterans and their families, and gave 15,000 on nights of shelter to homeless vets, and it's been a crazy thing, and touched the lives of 4,400.
My
So it's
goodness.
in three different states, and it's taken on a life of its own. The need is there, and people don't want to see those problems. People don't want to see that we send people off to serve their country and then they come back and sleep under a bridge or hurt themselves. That's just not what people want. And when they see an opportunity to help, they come out and help us. And we probably field, if you totaled the volunteers from each event together, you'd be north of 800 people coming out to make that difference. But it's really something to see.
My goodness, that's amazing. What states are you guys currently helping veterans in?
Our largest footprint is in Northeast Pennsylvania. We have some peer groups running and some holiday meal outreach in Western New Jersey. And we have an old schoolhouse we're still renovating to be a homeless shelter in Central Ohio. We have a small team outside of Pittsburgh, and that's pretty much the bulk of it. We have some scattered board members where we're hoping to get some things growing, but those things aren't growing yet.
Interesting to know. And this is, if you think nationally, you don't typically think of like Pennsylvania and Ohio and New Jersey as huge hotbeds for retired vets or just, vets that have gotten out of the military. I know we have veterans all over the country, but, typically like we're seeing, you'll see them in San Antonio and like San Diego, possibly, more like down in the other areas of Texas that, that where a large bases, are, where you have people that get out and then, like stay in that area. So I find that fascinating that you have like these pockets in the Rust Belt that we're dealing with a lot of those situations as well. Thank you for shining light on that.
There we are. We have a homeless shelter that's open and running all the 24/7 and 365 in the west end of Monroe County, which is the eastern border of Monroe County, goes right up against the Delaware River that divides Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We're just a little south of Interstate 80 there. And we have a 200-acre counseling facility in Carbon County, a little further inland, where I'm talking to you from now, where we help vets with the war to peace transition, largely emotionally, and through the crisis points like relationship problems and making better choices than drinking too much and getting high. We take them fly fishing and archery hunting and work through the emotional scars of war and some other things. But there's a lot going on. You can't escape that the vets adjustments are complicated. The best part is everything we do for the vets is free. We don't even bill insurance. Our supporters expect us to do that, and so we're fortunate to be able to.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And like, how do you see, like what challenges do you have right now that, if there's people out there that are listening that, like want to help in this cause, what challenges are you having right now?
We're short staffed. We have a small staff. I still need some. It'd be really nice to hire a substance abuse counselor. It'd be really nice to hire a social worker just to do some of the case management that we do with vets currently at the homeless shelter. Our vehicle fleet is so run down that I'm taking it to the shop all the time. We have the challenges that any nonprofit has, but the main thing they could do is come out and volunteer, walk into a homeless camp with me carrying a cooler full of warm meals. When most people put beer in, we put those styrofoam folds with warm meals and walk into homeless camps and find the vets and feed them. And part of in the homeless environment where they live, we will help any of the homeless, because in the process of helping the civilians, they tell you where the veterans are. We help a lot more You help a lot more veterans in the street, in the camps, by helping the civilians there too. It's the right thing to do to help them, right?
Yeah.
But really, unfortunately, our motives are recon for homeless veterans. They're our objective, and we use the indigenous homeless population to help us find our targets. And it's in military terms, since we're doing the Milpreneur podcast.
I love
And
it.
but yeah, and it's I should have emailed you a few homeless camp pictures, but it's a big deal. And coming up this Sunday, we're supposed to get 16 inches of snow,
Goodness
and
gracious.
and I'll be in Easton, Bethlehem, and Allentown walking into homeless camps on Saturday, the day before the big storm hit. So it'll be interesting to ask what help they ask for from me, because everybody knows it's coming, but it's hard to get people to get their mind around that they're still going to be out there in that 16 inches of snow. Everybody else is bundled up by the fireplace reading a book, and there's already 4 or 5 inches on the snow on the ground today, and we're going to put 16 more inches on top of it on Sunday. Oh, that's
My goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. And so any of your listeners that want to donate a warm pair of waterproof boots, we'd love to hear from them. People could shop on Amazon, and you know what else is really handy for people that don't have real deep pockets? When you deal with the vets in the camps, they live with what they have in the camp. So they live in a tent, right? They have no kitchen, they have no can openers, they have no pots and pans. 20-ounce cans of Dinty Moore stew, those short, fat ones with the pull top lids, become their bowl, their pot. The lid comes off, it becomes their can opener. And we send out a metal spoon in every bag. And the 20-ouncers, the other tall, skinny ones, they burn the bottom. They eat halfway down the food until they taste the burnt, and then they throw the rest away. The 20s are shallow enough they can stir all the way to the bottom, and then they eat the whole thing. So malnutrition is a big problem. You have to find foods that have some degree of vegetables and proteins. And so we do a lot of 20-ounce cans of Dinty Moore stew. And if anybody wanted to buy us a couple cans on Amazon and have them delivered or something, 1130 Scenic Drive, Kunkletown, Pennsylvania, 18058. We'll land at our homeless shelter, and we'll repurpose it out to our homeless camps. But I've been, okay, what can I tell his audience that they can help? That's an easy thing for people to do, and that might be the easiest.
I love it,
That might be the easiest. How do you, if you can't, the first thing affected by malnutrition is the brain. And if you're not making good decisions, you're not going to think your way out of the situation you're in.
Right.
So Dinty Moore stew, the chunky soups, they're all, at least you can't say they're the healthiest foods, but you can say they've got a lot of nutrition. And for a demographic that's living on old stale French fries that people give them when they're holding up a sign, and crappy McDonald's hamburgers, something that they can heat up right there. You know those little green propane cans?
Yeah.
They turn the stoves on in their tents to stay warm. You and I would make mocha or something on them, but they're in there using them as their furnace.
Wow.
And those little green propane cans are invaluable too. But those are your boring stories for the day. I'll shut up. But there's things people don't normally think about that could be very helpful.
Well, it's a great cause that you're doing and helping out the local community. And thank you for what you're doing. You spent a lifetime serving our country, and now you're helping those vets that served as well. So thank you for everything that you're doing. It's definitely appreciated.
I appreciate you having us on. Having me on, and the organization as us. But
yeah. So one of the things that we do here is we like to get to know the founder of an organization a little bit more on a personal level. You up for a little rapid fire questioning?
Here we go. I'm in trouble now.
All right, here we go, man. So are you an early bird or a night owl?
I'm an early bird. If I'm up past 8:30, there's people looking at me like, what are you doing still up?
Right. Exactly. I love that, man. What book are you reading? Is there anything that's nourishing the mind right now?
I've been The Greatest Secret. I've been Mrs. Burns' book from the series from The Secret. She's got one called The Greatest Secret. I'm trying to get my mind around that right now.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a bucket list travel spot you still want to visit?
I want to go elk and mule deer hunting in Montana, and I want to go grizzly bear and moose archery hunting in Alaska.
Oh, nice.
And have not been able to do either one. I've signed up in theory. In November, I'm going to the Montana version. We will see how that plays out, but I got to figure out how to pull off that Alaska thing.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Hey, do you have what was the first job that you ever had?
I cut grass for a guy that used to repair lawnmowers. And I used to get yelled at because I'd take my shirt off and ride the lawnmower around the yard, and he'd come yell at me because his wife was watching me outside in the yard. Yeah.
I love that. That's awesome, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, if you had a superpower like the X-Men or the Avengers, what's that one superpower you'd want?
I got bullied as a kid. So I got a thing for bullies. You can press my emotional button quickly on bully topics. But I would like a superpower that's probably new that I could tell who a bully was without asking them questions. And
nice.
And then I could figure out how to get them to leave people alone.
I love that, man.
Maybe with brute force and blind ignorance, get them to leave people alone. And anyway, useless trivia, right?
Very cool, man. I love it, dude. Hey, if you could have dinner with one historical figure, whether living or deceased, who would you want that dinner to be with?
Thomas Jefferson.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Hey, last question for you is what's bumping around on your tunes playlist, man? What are you listening to?
I don't have a tunes playlist.
That's fair. Yeah. All good, man. I got one more to finish it up for you. What's your cheat meal, your indulgence meal that
My cheap one is Bojangles 4-piece dinner with their spicy gravy mashed potatoes.
There you go, man. Good job, man. Well, you crushed the rapid fire section, man. Well done. Good job on that whole thing. So as we kind of wrap this podcast up, if you could go back in time and give one piece of advice to yourself when you were entering the military, what's that one piece of advice you'd give yourself?
I would tell myself to pursue more education and not wait on going to the combat diver course or Delta selection. And I got bad advice on one and delayed the other. And my two regrets are that I never went to Delta selection because I was told I was too old. I got advice to wait, and it was bad advice. And I kept procrastinating going on missions instead of doing pre-scuba and the combat diver course. And when I finally went, no, enough. If I don't go now, I'm never going to go. I failed my physical for my back. And so the Halo Scuba physical, they let me still high altitude jump, but they weren't going to let me do push-ups with scuba tanks on my back. And so I wasn't allowed to go. I should have went when I was young and had the chance then.
Man. But well, you still had a great career and, very, very appreciative of your time today, man. It's been great talking to you. People are interested in giving. How can they get a hold of you guys?
They can find us on Facebook, keyword Valor Clinic, and they could go to our website, valorclinic.org. We have a donation link if they wanted to donate. I'm the one that answers the private messages on the social media. So if they reached out there, I could reply directly. And if it's a vet that needs help, they could call me at 570-534-2998. That's my cell phone that was ringing a few minutes ago. That I had to shut it off while we were talking. I forgot to turn it off. I apologize.
It's all good, man. Mark Baylis, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I'll try to figure out if you can send me a link once you get it up online. I'll share it in our socials.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you so much for your time today. Ryan Van Ornum signing off for the Milpreneur Podcast. Until the next time, thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, go like, comment, and subscribe on all of our channels on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Thank you again. Until the next time, everyone, stay blessed. Take care.